let's try to play some famous wrestling themes on the sitar. Let me tell you a secret. My name is Mams and I make weird music, and we just hit 1,000 subscribers! It took me 14 friggin' years. But let's be honest, the first few years I wasn't very serious about it. The last couple years I've been trying to be more consistent. From May last year, I had been trying to post at least 2 videos a month. But from 2025, my New Year's resolution to do 3 every month. And honestly, it has been very rewarding and the channel has grown a lot too. I remember counting 666 subscribers as a milestone back in 2024. Since then, in just over a year, we have got another 300 subscribers. So, to celebrate this, let's do something fun. Let me tell you a secret. As a kid, I really loved watching professional wrestling entertainment on the TV. I loved watching so many iconic moments like Chris Jericho's highlight reels, the epic Y2J and Shawn Michaels feud, Shawn Michaels winning the first Elimination Chamber, Kane going berserk after unmasking, Randy Orton getting betrayed by Evolution, Lita and Trish's epic storylines and matches, Hurricane trying to chokeslam both The Rock and Triple H at the Rumble, Eddie Guerrero's constant lying, cheating and stealing. There's so many more. I probably watched somewhere up until 2005, which is about the time that I started getting serious about music. Then I didn't watch for over a decade. But when AEW was formed, it kinda rekindled my interest in wrestling and has ever since become somewhat of a guilty pleasure to me. So, I thought for today, let's try to play some famous wrestling themes on the sitar. At first, I made a big list of the themes that I wanted to play, but then I had to shorten it down based on which ones had a very clear melody that could be played on the sitar, which is a very melodic instrument. Many of the themes that I had originally wanted to do were more riff-based and didn't have a very clear melody. So I finally made a lucky list of 7 themes, and if I miss your favorite themes, tell me which ones down in the comments below. Also, while you're down there, like and subscribe so we can get to the next milestone quicker. I'm gonna be playing through the Fender Deluxe Tweed and have added a bit of reverb and delay. I practiced the themes a bit, but not perfect, as it would take too much time to perfect all the nuances. After all, this is supposed to be a fun video and not a perfect cover. So, let's go! So here is the electric sitar for those of you who are first time on the channel. And this has got some piezo pickups inside. It's not very good, but it works, especially when taken through an amp and reverb and delay. Let's go for the first theme. Yes, that's right. It was none other than the dead man, The Undertaker. So when I started watching wrestling, Dead Man was already doing the biker gimmick because, as I said, I started watching somewhere around 2002, 2003. I'm not too sure, but it was not in the early Dead Man days. When I was doing, he was already coming out to the Limp Bizkit theme. I definitely remember the Jeff Hardy match. I think Undertaker is someone whom we always know. He's a constant. He's always there. No one can not know about the Undertaker. Like if you're even mildly a fan of, forget fan, if you're even mildly aware of wrestling, everyone knows the Undertaker. So definitely, I would say one of the greatest gimmicks or the greatest characters in wrestling. And no, the streak should not have been broken. So let's go for theme number two. Yes, it was the man with the three eyes, Kurt Angle. I think he was one of the most interesting and comedic characters. Very versatile, I have to say, like, because he could be serious, and most of the time that I remember, he was a villain, he was a heel. But he was very fun to watch, like, and everyone remembers him. I don't remember if I saw when he became bald, like when I think he had a hair versus hair match with someone. I'm not too sure, but one another thing is before me, my older brother, my older cousins was watching wrestling, and then he's the one who introduced me to wrestling. I remember him talking to me about the triple threat match between Kurt Angle, Triple H, and The Rock, and the way he sold it to me like, oh, The Rock is the greatest hero ever. Like we didn't use the terms like baby faces and heels back then, but the greatest hero ever, and Triple H is the greatest villain ever, and then there's Kurt Angle, like the third guy who just popped in there somehow, and then Kurt Angle won the match, like because I was expecting either it's gonna be The Rock or Triple H who's gonna win, but it was Kurt Angle who won. I don't know if I watched the match or like I watched replays or like because back then I myself was definitely not watching it. But then, like, okay, after I did start watching it, Kurt Angle was another constant. Like, he was always there doing comedic stuff. I think I also remember maybe he went away for a while and then came back and then he became a baby face and then he just embraced the whole "You Suck" theme. Like, because before he used to get annoyed at everybody chanting "You Suck," but then when he came back as a baby face, he embraced that and suddenly, like, the theme became like the greatest thing ever and the words like "you suck" became good words, like, like he just changed the whole dynamics, the whole psychology. Like I think he's a great mastermind. He knows how to play the audience, like even the TV audience like me. So that was Kurt Angle. Let's go into number three, and you think you know me. When I think of Edge, the first word that comes to my mind is surprise. It was always a shock, and I think that was his whole idea of like barged in. Again, when my brother was introducing me, I remember he told me three specific matches or instances. Like the first one was the triple threat I mentioned earlier. The second one was the tables, ladders, and chairs between the Hardys, the Dudleys, and Edge and Christian. What he said is like, okay, the Dudleys are the masters of the tables, Hardys are the masters of the ladders, and Edge and Christian were the masters of the chairs. What's gonna happen when these three collide? Then his solo run, I think, when I watched it, I think he was mostly solo. Or maybe it was towards the end of the Edge and Christian run. I don't exactly remember, but he always came and shocked. Like, like he would appear in places where you didn't expect him to appear. I definitely remember the storyline with Lita. Or maybe not. Like maybe it was a little after. Because even when I was not watching wrestling, I was still like aware of what's happening in wrestling. A little bit of here and there. My younger cousin was still watching. So like maybe through him, like I was a little aware about Edge, now known as Cope. So let's get into number 4. Okay, yes, that was V1 Matt Hardy. I think Matt was probably one of my favorites back then. Some of the wrestlers who were my top 5, like Matt was definitely one of them. Jeff, he was not very present when I was watching. He would make sporadic appearances, Jeff, whereas Matt was again a constant. Matt was constant. And he was doing the V1 gimmick. He was a heel, but I don't remember, like, back then I was not, like, so aware of, like, what's a heel, what's a face, who's a good guy, who's a bad guy. We were just watching, like, and sometimes I didn't understand them all. I was probably 10, 12 years old at that time. I didn't know who was a good guy, who was a bad guy. Like, Matt Hardy looks cool, so he was a good guy to me. I always loved the Matt facts. So yeah, Matt Hardy was another one of my favorites. Probably my favorite Hardy. Like, I think I liked Matt more than Jeff. So next up, I think one of the scariest wrestler of that time. Yes, it's the big red monster, big red machina monster, Kane. I remember where he unmasked. Then he went on a reign of terror. Like, that is actually scary. Like, I actually felt scared. Also, at that time, I have to mention, I don't think I was fully aware that wrestling is predetermined. Like, I wasn't aware that it's an act. I did believe that it's real. Everything Kane did, like to lots of people, like I think Shane McMahon is the most famous one, but then he used to go on a reign of terror every week, like until it culminated with the Lita and angle. Those few weeks, months, like he was a menace. Every time he came on like I didn't want it. Kane was legit scary. Also, I hate everything that Kane did as corporate Kane. So like that really turned me off. I think I love the comedic things like he did with much later with Brian Danielson and the Hell No and all that, but he was comedic after a while. Now, originally, I wanted to have a mix of my earlier fandom of wrestling and my more recent fandom of wrestling. As you see, I've played five teams, and all five of them are from the older era. I think the one big reason is the way I'm watching, because back then I was watching it on TV, so I would see the whole show. But now I'm mostly watching it on YouTube. Even though I love so many wrestlers in the WWE, like I don't know how their theme goes because I've barely heard it on the YouTube. They don't play their themes fully, maybe once in a while, except in another case, which I'm gonna play now, and you're gonna know instantly what I'm talking about. Yes, of course, it is Le Champion, Chris Jericho. In the earlier era when I was watching wrestling, my favorite wrestler was probably Chris Jericho. And he was a heel, by the way, the whole time. I think he was only a face with the Trish, Lita, Christian angle. Besides that, every other time he was a heel, but still, he was my favorite wrestler. One big reason was like, I mean, he had long hair, he had a band. That was always in the back of my mind. I think on the first Elimination Chamber, Fozzy played. That was one big reason why I loved Jericho. I loved the highlight reel, the first Elimination Chamber, and then the HBK, Shawn Michaels, that whole storyline, the first storyline. I think after that, he dwindled around for a bit. And then the big one, the next big one that he was involved in, he teamed up with Christian. And then the whole Trish and Lita, that whole storyline, that was kind of weird to some extent as a kid. Then after some time he feuded with John Cena and stuff like that. Then he quit wrestling. Then I stopped watching wrestling because my favorite wrestler was not there anymore. Maybe that is a big reason. Many years later, I have Instagram, and then I saw that post he made where he was signing with AEW, and it instantly sparked my interest back. That is when my love for wrestling rekindled, and I started watching AEW, and then AEW would actually play full themes on their YouTube channel. I have been watching both AEW and WWE as well. So anyways, let's get into the final theme for today. This is probably my favorite right now. I goofed up a little bit over there. So, of course, it is Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and he's better than you, and you know it. What he's done in the last few years is definitely very interesting. I think his championship run with the Triple B was really interesting. But even the stuff that he did before that, like right from, I think I watched the first AEW pay-per-view where the Rumble, like, I remember seeing people like him. There were others as well, like Hangman Adam Page, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus. Lots of people who caught my attention. I definitely remember MJF being one of them. Like just seeing him for the very first time, like I was interested. And then he did the whole thing with Cody Rhodes betraying him. He had lots of interesting things. The big one was the Jericho feud again. The five labors of Jericho or something. He joined the inner circle for a bit. Like, we knew that he was gonna mess up the inner circle, and which he kind of did. Like, I think after the MJ feud, the inner circle really like imploded after that. But he still went on to do lots of interesting stuff. Like, I was hoping he would win the championship from Hangman Adam Page. There was a whole other debauchery in the between. Then he got the championship. I even loved what he did with Adam Cole, like Adam Cole baby, but the injury really messed it up. But I think it was a great storyline where he turned face. I never expected MJF to turn face, but he did, and then he killed it even there. That was the last theme of the video. Let's go to the conclusion. Welcome back. Did you like the themes? Did you like the themes? Did you like the themes? Because if you did, then you should heel scribe. And while you're at it, don't forget to leave a like and turn on notifications for the channel. Now, let us get to 2,000 subs. I hope that won't take another 14 years. Also check out my album Small Town Boy on all streaming platforms, including Bandcamp. And if you'd like to support me and the channel, you can grab my Sitar sample pack from Gumroad and Bandcamp. Thank you so much everyone for the 1,000 subs. And don't forget to stay untuned. Okay, bye.